Hello, this message is for you only if you are in a very select group of people. I'm going to tell you who this is for so that I don't waste your time, or so that you know without a doubt that this message is for you and that this message found you for a reason. If you are somebody who is familiar with terms such as quantum physics, altered states, trauma, mindfulness, transmutation, alchemy, astrology, numerology, things of that sort, then you are on the right track to being the kind of person that this message is for. But I want to dig a bit deeper. If you are somebody who has experienced very deep levels of trauma in your life, in your past, if you are somebody that reflects on your experiences and seeks to extract lessons from those experiences, if you are somebody who chooses to do good and be good despite all of the horrible things that have happened to you, and to top all of that off, if you are somebody who takes all of these things as a more healed individual every day and has an intense passion about bringing peace and equity and justice to our world through the realms of art, spirituality, science, humanities in general, then this message is for you. Extra bonus points if you live in Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States. I'll explain later. If none of those things resonate with you, or if only a few of those things resonate with you, then I appreciate your time thus far. There are many amazing things to learn, and I would encourage you to look into some of those things that I mentioned in the beginning, like quantum physics and astrology. But unless you resonate with every single thing that I have expressed thus far, this message is not for you. So if you are still listening, welcome to your message. My name is NOLAN.VOID. I am the founder of CLUB.AURA, which is not just a channel here on YouTube, but it is a place where people like us can unplug from the systems that oppress us and keep us trapped in cycles of scarcity. This is a place where we can go to recharge, regain our sovereignty, express ourselves authentically, safely act in ways that are empathetic, and ultimately work together to discover our own humanity on a deeper level and create new systems from within the systems that are not working and that are actively destroying the planet and every living being's opportunity and right to abundance and peace. That is what this channel is about. This channel is the community base for CLUB.AURA, which is, in my mind and in my soul, a physical place, in physical reality. That reality is materializing as we speak. Every day, every hour, every minute that goes by, Club Aura is closer to manifesting in physical reality, and I have a very clear vision for it. I am at the point where I cannot do it alone. So this message is a call to those who resonate with everything I mentioned in the beginning. Again, you're still here. This is a call not just for your attention to what I'm building and what I would like to build with you. This is a call for your hope and your belief and your conviction that the world doesn't have to be this way. All of the war and manipulation and extraction and desolation that a very select few people in our species are inflicting on this entire planet, none of that has to be the case. And it is only so because we have continued to allow it and believe it and perpetuate it. That age of our species is coming to an end. And this message is for you as somebody who I believe also believes that. Let me get more specific. I would imagine that in your childhood, you were subjected to some sort of system of oppression, and you're very aware that this was a system of oppression. Now, if you're like me, very like me, then you're most likely aware that you were subjected to multiple systems of oppression that, although are seemingly separated, actually all intertwine into a really disgusting, horrifying mess of patriarchy, capitalism, white supremacy, ignorance, and a whole lot of unresolved trauma, again, residing in the bodies of some of the most evil people on earth, not because they were born that way, but because they choose to be that way. Now, being raised in this environment, growing up in a system of oppression, it feels like an extreme disadvantage in the beginning. For a long time, it feels like a disadvantage. But if you're listening to this message, you are in a place in your life where you are realizing that that is not entirely true. In fact, you're learning to tap in to the strength that you have built intentionally through growing up in an environment that kept you detached from your true identity. The problem that we have right now is that it is very difficult to know where to funnel this energy and strength into. Because everywhere we look, there are systems designed to keep certain people at the top and everyone else under their boot at the bottom. That is not a world that should exist. That is not a world that has to exist. And you are somebody that is extremely passionate about changing that. I have spent the last 10 years of my life diving deep into my psyche, exploring my shadow, coming face to face with the parts of me that I didn't want to admit even existed. I have through that journey, rediscovered myself, rediscovered the power and inevitability of nature, and the inevitability of these oppressive systems failing. You have been on a similar journey. I'm getting the sense that you are a very creative person, and that doesn't have to look like being a famous musician, because it seems like everybody and their dog's mother wants to be a famous musician. First of all, that's not a route most people should take, because it's an extremely difficult one and needlessly difficult due to the industry. But that's besides the point. There are so many different shapes that an artist can take. And if you are a true artist, then you understand that. You understand that engineering is art. Math can be art. So you're an artistic person. You have a drive to create, which means you're already off to a great start, because some people, for some reason, have an intense drive to destroy. And the only thing that I really want to destroy is these systems. These systems that are causing unnecessary suffering at a mass scale. Now, I don't want to get too crazy with this, especially in the first message, because I'm sure it sounds like a lot. Wow, Nolan, you're talking about the systems that have stretched across our entire planet and are very tightly controlled by a tight-knit group of people that have an immense amount of wealth and influence and power. But that is exactly why I am sending out this message, because we are the power source. You are their source of power. Think about it. There is no world with billionaires if there are only 5 people on the planet. So let's just say I used the number 5 for a reason. Maybe the number 5, maybe 555 has been resonating with you lately. 555 is a very interesting number because it is the center. It is the bridge. I believe 555 represents the bridge between Earth, which could be represented by the root chakra, and spirit, which could be represented by the crown chakra. 555 is the chakra of the heart, in my opinion. All of these things, all of these issues have been really weighing on your heart lately. And you've been in this in-between place where you feel even more of an intense desire to change things and to right these wrongs and to create something that is resonant and relevant, not only to you, but to others, because you want to help, you want to heal, and you want to offer that for other people. But this is paired with this fear, this pain, this anguish of almost being taunted with this reality, this potential reality of a world without suffering, yet you look around you and everyone seems to be so angry and scared and in a rush and so quick to treat another person or living being with disregard at the least, or at the worst, absolute hatred. And so you've been in your heart space recently feeling all of these things. That's why I bring up 555, because this is a place that artists thrive in. As artists, We are the bridge. We are the center. Some could say we are the source. Now, I believe that every human being has the potential to be an artist. I believe that deep down at our core, because we are all of the same substance. By the way, this recording was at 15:15 when I was saying that. Because we are all of the same source, we all have that potential to create within us. But because that source is filtered through the unique lens of your ego or your individuated identity in this reality, we all have that potential. But most people, especially in a world where these oppressive systems exist, most people, they will not choose to seek the artist within themselves because they don't believe it's possible, which is a shame. But you're different. And regardless of how hard these oppressive systems, whether it be a high demand religion, an abusive family situation, maybe an abusive dynamic with a parent or a grandparent, whether it be an abusive dynamic in public education where you felt like, I know I'm intelligent, but this system keeps telling me that I'm not because I'm not getting good grades. But I'm not getting good grades not because I'm dumb, it's because they refuse to adapt to the different ways that people need to learn. And they are trying to fit me into a box that I was never meant to fit in. And so then you have to endure, if you're in the United States, which is where I'm from, K through 12 of absolute nightmare fuel of fluorescent lights and teachers that are stressed beyond their limit, and so they don't have the capacity to care as deeply or personally as they should be able to, in a system that is feeding you propaganda to push you through a machine to turn you into a robot so that you don't think for yourself, so that you sacrifice your artistry, you sacrifice this dream and this hope that the world could be better, and you just take things for how they are. That is how most people go through their life, and you have said no to that. But now you're here. You feel more healed than you've ever felt, and you have been the one to heal yourself. And now you are itching for something to contribute to, something to build, some sort of solution that will actually bring results. Because it is becoming very maddening to look around at the world and see a couple of people somehow able to, what seems like they are undoing all of the good shadow work that artists are doing, undoing all of the hard work that environmentalists are doing, undo all of the hard work that social activists have done throughout history. It is maddening to watch this happen, and it's maddening to feel powerless to do it, and it's maddening to know deep inside you that you are a source of creation. You are a source of limitless potential, yet you have to go work your job to pay your rent, to pay your bills, to get stuck in this cycle forever, and you want out. How do we do it? How do we do this? Well, we can't do it alone. I want to tell you what Club Aura is really about, so that just within this first message, you will know without a doubt if this channel is a place that you are meant to be in. Everything that I have said thus far could resonate very strongly with you, and we could get to the end of the video and you either don't trust me, which is totally fair. I'm a stranger. We're also not here in person with each other. So you might not be able to feel my energy as strongly as you would if we were in person. So you might go a separate way, or you don't trust the vision, or it doesn't resonate with you. The actual vision of Club Aura, which is essentially the modality through which we will collectively change these systems and do so undercover, which is also pretty fucking cool and fun. I'll explain what I mean by all of that. You could get to the end of the video and it doesn't fully resonate. I still appreciate you being here. I hope that it has helped you feel seen and validated. Bless you on your journey. However, I would be very surprised at this point if you were to turn your back on this, because I believe that it is everything that every human being truly wants out of life. And we can create this together. So, I mentioned earlier a quick preface, now that we're 21 minutes in. A quick preface. You are the energy source. I am the energy source. We are the energy source. The brutal machine of manipulation and oppression that is at our throats is powered by us. You have to let that sink in. We've all thought about it. If you're listening to this, I know that you have thought about what it would be like if one year we all just said, you know what, we're not paying taxes, and you know what would happen? The entire system would crumble. Or what if all of us just decided to not go to work anymore? And you've postulated what might come of that. I think that every person like me and like you dreams of revolution in some form or fashion, not because we're itching for something exciting to happen in our life, but because we have a feeling deep down that it's necessary at this point. So if you are the energy source for this machine, you get to decide if it is plugged into you or not. Now, capitalism, especially this nightmare of late stage capitalism that we're experiencing, you don't consent to that. Nobody consents to it, right? Because what's the alternative if you don't consent? Not having food and shelter and clean water. That's fucking crazy. That is not consent. Consent would be, hey, we have two different systems here. Which one do you want to participate in? You will be healthy and well and happy, regardless of which system you choose. And you let the system speak for itself. But that's not what's at stake here, right? Well, here's the thing. Club Aura is that second option. Now, this is going to sound kind of funny, given everything that I've mentioned thus far. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll immediately click with you. Club Aura begins as a nightclub. Club Aura begins in the heart of nightlife. So it begins as a nightlife revolution. And I have an extremely specific reason for that. The reason is because I believe presence within our bodies is the entire point of our existence. I believe it is why we even chose to incarnate in this reality in the first place. I have a theory that is, I think, pretty coherent with reality. And this theory is about how people always ask, like, oh, like, who created God? Everyone's like thought of that at least once or twice, especially if you grew up in religion. I have a theory about all that, but we're not getting into that video. Embodiment, present embodiment is the point. Because through your body, you experience reality in a tangible way. When you're not present, you're just thinking about the past or the future. So you're essentially time traveling into probabilities or old stories that don't have to remain true anymore. And that is not presence. That is not experience. That is just simulation. So simulation ends where present begins. Now, why nightlife? Because the current state of nightlife, first of all, nightlife is a portal to new realities. It is a portal to a new way of living. Nightlife encompasses the fringes of society. Now, I'm not going to make a claim on if... Here's an example. A strip club, that is very fringe, right? That is a very fringe aspect to our society. I mean, we're at the point where there are people arguing about if mothers should be allowed to breastfeed when and where they need to or want to. Because some people are afraid of seeing a breast, which couldn't be me. But that's besides the point. I'm illustrating that to show that strip clubs exist solely within nightlife. It's not really a daytime thing. I've never personally been to one. I don't really plan to. But that's not the point, and I'm not even making a claim on if this is a good thing to exist or not. What I'm saying is that when people go to a nightclub, let's move on from strip clubs. People go to a nightclub to be embodied. And most people go to a nightclub because they're trying to find a hookup, right? Because when you are engaging in a sensual or sexual experience with somebody, that can root you in your body, at least temporarily. And if you don't understand the energy at play and the dynamics at play, then it is going to be a very temporary thing. But people go to the nightclub to find a hookup. Some people go to dance. Some people go to listen to loud music. It's all about the sensation. And because nightlife somehow gets a pass for things that would normally not be okay in our society, again, using strip clubs as an example, but even just in general, people don't dance out in public. People are terrified of dancing out in public, but when you're in the club, there's at least a higher likelihood that somebody will get out of their comfort zone a bit and dance. Now, why is this so important? Beyond just, okay, this is the whole point of our existence. Embodiment is how you reclaim your energy. Now, if you're this deep into the message, you probably understand this on some level. I'm passing 888 as I'm saying this. I'm driving, by the way. So, embodiment is what I believe the key to a successful, coordinated revolution. Because we all must be sovereign individuals. We must all know ourselves deeply. And knowing is not just thinking you believe something. Knowing is embodying it. So Club Aura begins as a nightclub, but it's not just any nightclub. It is something unlike what the world has seen ever before. And it is thoughtfully designed to connect us with ourselves and with each other in an authentic way that goes so far beyond the shallow, empty experience that you can typically have with most nightlife that is available in our society. Before we even get to creating something in the physical, We need to generate enough energy here and now in this community, here on YouTube. I'm not going to ask for your commitment to this channel or to my vision. What I will ask is that if you have made it this far into the message, leave a comment. Let me know, what is it about society that you would like to change? I would like to see where all of our heads are at, because I know that we're all on the same page in regards to, hey, we want to be ourselves and live freely and abundantly. We want to spend our time doing things that we enjoy, doing things that are artistic. We want to see the world, spend time with wonderful, beautiful people, and deepen our connection with ourselves and the world around us. That's what we all want. But having specifics, I think, is a great place to start. So if you're not going to subscribe because you're not sure yet, that's totally understandable. What I would ask is that at this point in this message, if it has resonated with you on a soul level, simply tap the like button and leave a comment. I would love to see a world where blank. Share your vision. This is the place, because the comment section, the posts, the videos in this channel are not in a vacuum. This is an energy source that you can plug into that will reciprocate. Anything that you put into Club Aura, it will come back to you tenfold. I promise. I promise you. Again, all of the vision is there for me, but it can't just be me. We need each other. So this is the first step. My next message, I'm not sure exactly what form it will take. It will take the form that it needs to, but I intend to dive a bit deeper into my vision for Club Aura and really take you into that world so that you can understand why I'm so passionate about it and why it is so necessary. Thank you, friend, for clicking on the video when you felt the call to do so. Thank you for sticking around. And I look forward to reading what it is you would like to see in the world, because I care, I take it seriously, and so does everyone else that is watching this video. And together, over time, we will create tangible change that will liberate all of us from these oppressive systems. We can do it together. And once again, I really appreciate you. My name is NOLAN.VOID, and I'll talk to you soon.